month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
All right, welcome to the show. World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline, USA Radio Network. I'm Nick Eber. It is a pleasure to be with you. 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY. With you every weeknight from 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the Sports Byline, USA Radio Network. Some really important topics we're going to get to today on the show. By the way, if you want to find me on Twitter, you can do that at World Soccer Radio. We're going to, of course, look at the Premier League and the big matches that happened over the weekend. And, of course, we've got big matches coming up here in just a day or two. It is the wonderful December season in the Premier League. We're going to get to all of that. But today we're going to spend a little extra time focusing in on what exactly is going on with idiot athletes who are just at it again. I'm specifically talking about Dieudonné Mbala, a gesture that was made by Nicolas Anelka for West Bromwich Albion at Upton Park. Let's talk about that. Le Canel. We're going to talk about this. Look, this whole thing is shocking. I'm going to tell you exactly who Dieudonné Mbala is, what he stands for, and then we're going to watch, and I'm going to tell you how many other idiot athletes are aligning themselves with this guy, and then you can make the decision for yourself. All right, 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY. I'm Nick Eber. This is World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA. I'll be joined in just a little bit by Kartik Krishnaiyer from World Soccer Talk. Kartik and I are going to talk about this, of course, as well as the Premier League matches. We're going to get to some important topics there as well, including what a masterful job Jose Mourinho did with Chelsea against my team, Liverpool, and how, in point of fact, he has sussed Liverpool out now for the rest of the league. And I, for one, as a Liverpool fan, I'm very, very concerned about what that means for the rest of our season. Great job by Chelsea. Let's talk Man United. Let's talk City. Kartik and I will take a look at the front runners in the Premier League, and let's try to make an honest assessment about who we think is going to do what in the Barclays Premier League. All right, once again, 800-878-PLAY. Big hello to our men and women in uniform listening on American Forces Radio. What a pleasure and a privilege it is to speak with you as we do every weeknight from 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, TuneIn.com, iHeartRadio.com, Watch WSR. So many places to listen. We'll be right back after these messages. Now's a great time to use the loo if you have to do that. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Health insurance is on everybody's mind right now. You either don't have it, or you have it and you think it's too expensive. And you probably feel like you don't have any options. We can help. We are InSphere Insurance Solutions. We offer health insurance plans from major carriers nationwide and likely have a plan that can save you money. Whether you're self-employed, on a COBRA plan that's about to expire, or you simply don't have health insurance where you work and you need it, InSphere Insurance Solutions can help you. Our agents will help you find coverage you can afford. InSphere Insurance Solutions is an authorized agency in all 50 states, including the District of Columbia. Plans may not be available in all states. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. Who did you let down today? Your wife? Your kids? Well, how about yourself? Take a look in the mirror. If you're tired of your drug and alcohol problem, you need to fix the problem, and right now, before you hurt or kill yourself, or worse yet, somebody else. Call the addiction specialist now at the Detox and Treatment Helpline, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you have private insurance, we specialize in finding you the right treatment. When you call right now, you'll speak to a recovering addict who understands what you're going through right now. Let us help you break your addiction to drug and alcohol before it's too late. This call is completely confidential and free. So if you have private insurance, take 5 minutes of your time. Call right now. I promise it'll change your life. 800-296-1325. 800-296-1325. 800-296-1325. That's 800-296-1325. My joints used to kill me. I'd wake up with stiff knees and a stiff back, and it wouldn't get much better throughout the day. I went to doctors and took almost every supplement you can think of, and nothing seemed to help. Then I found something called Oil Can Joint Lubricant. They use only top-of-the-line, all-natural ingredients, and I know many companies make similar claims, but here's the big difference. Oil Can ingredients are scientifically formulated to work together faster than anything else in the marketplace. That's guaranteed. I take Oil Can every day. My knee pain was gone in just a few days. So if you have knee pain, back pain, and you've tried everything, try Oil Can Joint Lubricant risk-free right now. I'm confident you'll have fewer aches and pains within days, or we will gladly refund your money. Call right now. 800-989-1795. 800-989-1795. 800-989-1795. 800-989-1795.
All right, welcome back to the show, World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline, USA Radio Network. I'm Nick Geber. Man, some important topics we got to get to today, some really important stuff. I am, of course, referring to what happened at Upton Park, a very heated match, ended 3-3 between West Bromwich Albion and West Ham United, a very important match for both clubs, no doubt. But I'm not talking about that today. What happened during this match was that Nicolas Anelka scored a goal, and then he made an arm gesture that many people didn't know what that was. A lot of people sort of were going, well, what is that? But if you've been reading the press, following the news about what is happening in France right now with the virulent anti-Semitism that is sweeping the country, you would know that this arm signal is something that is called La Quenelle, which is a reverse Nazi salute that was given by a French comedian by the name of Dieudonné Mbala Mbala. Now, look, if you like comedy, and you know, I like edgy comedy, don't get me wrong, and I know I don't sound like that. It's like, I like fun things. If you listen to Andrew Dice Clay, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get, you know, raunchy, really crude comedy, demeaning to women, and all these other sorts of things. And if that's what you like, that's fine. That's what you like. That's the way it is. But you know, when you go see in Vegas Andrew Dice Clay, excuse me, that's what you're going to see. You don't go to see Andrew Dice Clay because you're expecting a family-friendly experience or humorous intellectual comedy. You know you're going to get raunchy, edgy guy comedy made at the expense of women, which some people find offensive and other people don't. And it's a little bit different of a situation. But the point I'm making is that when you go see him, you know what you're getting. Well, this bloke, Dieudonné Mbala Mbala, is known for having comedic acts where he makes fun of the Holocaust, of Jews being killed, of sending them to the gas chamber, of ovens. And part of his act is this sort of reverse salute that he does. Now, the fact that Nicolas Anelka made this salute himself is absolutely outrageous. And if you're watching the Ustream feed right now, I've stuck up a picture of Dieudonné Umbala for you. And you can see Nicholas Anelka, and of course, if you're listening on radio, which most people that are can't, but it's a sort of downward arm salute with the opposite arm touching the bicep of the arm that's down. It's very much like a Nazi salute, but pointed downwards rather than upwards. So Anelka scores the goal, gives the salute, and goes on just like nothing has changed. If you believe that Nicholas Anelka didn't know what that salute was about, then I think you're just about as gullible as they could possibly come. But wait a minute. It gets worse than that, folks. Because if we want to talk about idiot athletes, I got news for you. It's not just Nicholas Anelka that is caught up in the Dieudonné Umbala sweep. Other athletes from all over the world are as well. Man City, you're not immune. There's a picture of Samir Nasri standing outside the training grounds giving the reverse Nazi salute. And if you're listening to this show and you're thinking, oh, you know, those Europeans, and look at that stuff, look what they do. We don't get any of that here. Well, wait a minute. How about Tony Parker doing the same thing? Well, let's take it a step further. How about Tony Parker and Thierry Henry hanging out with Dieudonné Umbala? Now, I don't know. Call me old-fashioned. I think some athletes are just idiots. If you are a public person, it's probably not a wise thing to be seen in public or to be publicly saying that you're a fan of a guy who is an avowed racist. And I don't care whether it's Dieudonné Umbala or, you know, the head of the Ku Klux Klan. What would happen, I would ask you this, if Tony Romo were photographed hanging out with the head of the Ku Klux Klan? Think about that for a minute. Now, by the way, I don't mean to disparage Tony Romo. He's the first name that came to my head, so I'm sure that he doesn't hang out with the head of the Ku Klux Klan. But you get what I'm going with this, right? Some athletes are just complete and utter morons. And they pass it off by saying that this salute is called La Quenelle. It's just something made up by this bloke, Dieudonné Umbala. But let me tell you something. They are not fooling anybody. If UEFA doesn't act on this, they should just give it up, quit, walk out the door. They have no business adjudicating football right now, period. Or FIFA, or the FA. If they're going to ban Luis Suarez for 8 matches for racially abusing Patrice Evra by calling him a name that in his country he's claiming is not a racist statement, but he was banned anyway. And by the way, I'm not passing judgment on that. You can make your own judgment. That was a very silly thing for Luis Suarez to do. Don't get me wrong. Then Nicholas Anelka, Samir Nasri, Thierry Henry, who, by the way, obviously plays with MLS now, not in the Premier League, they should all suffer the same fate. If we have zero tolerance for racism, how can you have some of your biggest stars sitting up there throwing Nazi salutes or publicly being connected with a comedian whose singular act is that of racial hatred? And the flip side of this, folks, is I'm amazed because I put out a few tweets when this happened and immediately following it, and I have been absolutely inundated with anti-Semitic hate tweets directed at yours truly. I've also learned, by the way, that apparently my mother isn't the academic I thought she is. Apparently, she's made her living in a most nefarious manner. You get where I'm going. That's the sort of tweets that have been sent to me. Unfortunately, the people that send them are French, and they're writing to me in French. They don't understand that, of course. I do read, write, and speak French pretty well. I am absolutely amazed at the tweets that are directed at me because I'm calling out Dieudonné Mbala, and the footballers and athletes that seem to surround them, and the celebrities that seem to find some sort of, I don't know what, je ne sais quoi, about hanging out with this complete moron. 8 matches minimum, or UEFA and the FA and FIFA have absolutely no business whatsoever adjudicating this game. What do you think? Send me a tweet at World Soccer Radio, 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY. When we come back, we're going to go to break here in literally a minute. When we come back, I'm going to play you the most outrageous post-match press conference by Keith Downing, who is the manager of West Bromwich Albion, and get his take in the immediate aftermath of this Nicolas Anelka disaster. You got to hear this, folks. Stand by. We'll be right back. By the way, going to be joined by Kartik Krishnaiyer from World Soccer Talk. We're going to talk about this. Plus, of course, we're going to get into the big Premier League matches over the weekend, and we're going to take a look at the Premier League front-runners. All right, 800-878-PLAY. Find me on Twitter at World Soccer Radio. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/World Soccer Radio. Hope you're enjoying the show. You can listen by TuneIn, iHeartRadio, of course, the affiliate station of the Sports Byline Network. And once again, big hello to our men and women in uniform around the world listening on American Forces. That's what is in store for the rest of the show. I hope you will stay with me. And remember to tune in, of course, every weeknight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, time for break. Be right back after this.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion hip settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296-1360.
Carter's calling in, right?
No, I'm going to get him on my end.
800-296-1360.
You're in, okay.
800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360.
Are you a business owner or an individual who owes the IRS? Then be prepared to write down an important phone number. Do you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes? Do you need to file back tax returns? Are you dealing with bank levies and wage garnishments? It's time to deal with your IRS problem today. Call Certified Tax Representation now. Certified Tax Representation, Inc. represents clients just like you in all 50 states. They will contact the IRS on your behalf the same day that you become a client, and you can become a client immediately. It's time for you to face your IRS problems. Think about how great you're going to feel when you're represented by a company who's an advocate for you, who knows the law, who also will contact the IRS the same day you become a client. Call today for your free, no-obligation consultation. Call now, 1-800-999-1064. That's 1-800-999-1064. Not all cases are typical, and some may not qualify. The consultation is free, and so is the call, so call right now. 1-800-999-1064. That's 1-800-999-1064.
In 2000, the U.S. national debt was $5.6 trillion, and gold was $272 an ounce. By 2010, the U.S. debt was $13.5 trillion. Gold had risen to $1,421. Today, our government is projecting over $20 trillion of debt in the year 2016. Isn't it time you own gold? You can't control federal spending, but you can control where you put your investment dollars. Goldline has safely delivered billions of dollars in gold to its clients for over 50 years. Diversifying with gold is a smart strategy. Call Goldline today to receive your free investor kit. 800-319-9027. Ask them about payment options and read their important risk information to see if buying gold is right for you. Use your credit card for safety and convenience. Don't wait. Call Goldline today, 800-319-9027, 800-319-9027.
All right, welcome back to the show, World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline, USA Radio Network. I'm Nick Eber. It's a pleasure to be with you. I am now joined on the guest line by Kartik Krishnaiyer from World Soccer Talk. How are you doing, Kartik?
I'm doing quite well, Nick. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. We're going to give this line a go, Kartik, and if it doesn't sound right, we'll have you call in. But I think as of right now, we're good. Kartik, the discussion the last segment was about this absolute ludicrous salute thrown by Nicholas Anelka. The tweets are coming in, by the way. Jimmy Big Time tweets, Nick, it's not the Nazi salute. It's like any salute, every salute. He's a pig, but free to like who he wants. And I would suggest this, Kartik, I would suggest this to Jimmy, that if it was a white power handshake or sign that was being made, people would be very upset about it. If it was a single finger, meaning that someone should, copulate themselves, they are upset about that. In point of fact, did we not just recently have a suspension for that? So it's not just a salute, it's what it means, and it's the message of the person that is around that salute that matters. We were not all born yesterday. Some of us are able to understand what these things mean, and with the internet and the ability to see, hate speech can really propagate very, very quickly, Kartik.
Right, and I actually come from a position of maybe some credibility on this, in the sense that I defended Paulo Di Canio and his right to give his fascist symbol when he played for Lazio. That was very different than this, as far as I'm concerned, because that was just an identification with the club's supporters. What this is, and keep in mind, Lazio has a massive right-wing fan base in the capital area. The leftists in town tend to support AS Roma. Don't want to get too deep into that. This is very different to me. Anelka has clearly, and Nasri and Mamadou Sakho and some of these other guys have clearly identified with a person whose routine and his, quote, comedic value is based almost entirely on anti-Jewish bigotry. If you look at what he talks about in his comedy, in his stand-up routine, in his presentation, he is almost entirely basing his act around that subject. And these athletes these footballers have identified with him, and that to me is very different than what Paulo Di Canio did.
Well, absolutely. Although I think what Paulo Di Canio did also was a very, very stupid thing to do.
Yeah, it was stupid,
I mean, that's beside the point. The fact is, these are generally North African players that have a political standpoint, that have a political viewpoint. Unfortunately, they also have a racist and racial viewpoint as well. So I mean, there's a whole discussion about that. But no one is being fooled by this. No one apparently, except for the manager of West Bromwich Albion. Kartik, we're going to go ahead and play the almost insane post-match press conference where this topic was brought up.
I'm aware of it, but it's got nothing to do with what was being said. I mean, he's dedicated to a French comedian that he knows very, very well. So it's a gesture he uses in his act. And that's, I think, speculation. I think that we can stop that now. I mean, he's absolute rubbish, really.
Wilshere was punished for a gesture recently. Do you expect
no.
there to be no problem with Nicholas?
No, not at all. It was dedicated to a friend of his who was a comedian in France. So he's totally unaware of what the problems were or the speculation thrown around. He's absolutely, totally surprised by it.
It is meant to be anti-Semitic.
Yeah, absolutely. Pardon?
It's meant to be an anti-Semitic gesture.
Well,
I think he's answered that question. Nick has explained it.
Explained it.
So the club won't be taking any action?
No.
There's nothing else to say.
No.
Moving on to the game.
All right, so there you have it. I mean, it is. Let's see. So it is a gesture that is what did he say it was exactly? He said it was a gesture sort of in deference to a French comedian, right?
Right, and it's
so
very sad.
hold on, Kartik. So that's fine. So the Nazi Heil Hitler is just a gesture made by his mate, some Austrian politician.
Yeah,
I mean, is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing here? I mean, is this what we're talking about? Silly stuff.
No, and it's really unfortunate. I want to mention the club that's involved. West Bromwich Albion were probably the single under Ron Atkinson, who ironically enough made some comments a few years later, which got him in trouble, but were the pioneering club along with Watford, I would say. Those two clubs are bringing black African footballers into English football at a time when it was very passe. And you know this, Nick, you were living in Britain at the time. So it's very sad to see a club whose legacy on these sorts of issues has been so strong and so great kind of turn back the clock on that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Now, I get that Keith Downing didn't understand and didn't know probably who Diodune Mbala is and what this is about. I mean, a lot of this is sort of continental, this sort of continental racism that's moving around and hasn't come to the UK, at least publicly, although clearly it has, as you can see from the pictures of Samir Nasri giving the salute outside of the Carrington training grounds. You know, it's outrageous stuff. But clearly Keith Downing didn't understand, and he also made some ill-advised statements. But now the question becomes, Kartik, what do they do about it? I mean, we've seen just here on this show, I put up pictures if you're watching on Ustream, but if you're listening, of course, on the radio, I'm telling you that I put up pictures of Thierry Henry, Tony Parker of the NBA, Samir Nasri, Nicolas Anelka. I mean, the list goes on, all throwing down the La Quenelle, this it's not really a Nazi salute, which, of course, we all know really is a Nazi salute. Or, well, let's not say Nazi, let's say a racist salute, because the Nazis would have loved to have had their special way with people of African descent as well. So, I mean, you know, it's a racist salute. And again, you know, if you call them out on this, they'll say, well, it's, you know, it's anti-establishment and anti-Zionist. I mean, that's just nonsense. I mean, this guy is giving, his comedic act is about putting Jews in gas chambers and burning them in the ovens. I mean, this guy was part of the Holocaust denial campaigns put on by our good friend Mahmoud Ahmadinejad of Iran. I mean, is this a guy that these clubs should be, you know, should be in any way want their players associating with? No. I mean, look, Kartik, I'm sorry, I'm on a bit of a rant now. It's a free world. You're entitled to have whatever beliefs you want. You're entitled to have, you know, whatever beliefs, no matter how ill-formed, no matter how stupid, no matter how crazy that you want. When you act on them, or when you try to push hurtful beliefs down the throats of other people, that's when we get into some serious problems here. Hate speech is hate speech any way you carve it.
Yes, and I have to say, this is, I don't want to get into too deep a discussion on French society, but there has been an attempt in French society to kind of purge the complicity in which a lot of French citizens had with the Vichy government, which was a regime, a puppet regime of Hitler's during World War II, a complicity that they had in sending Jews and other undesirables, which included some North Africans, actually.
Of course, right.
Yeah, right, some Algerians, to the gas chambers in Germany and in Austria and occupied German territories.
By the way, Kartik, let me just clarify. You don't mean undesirables. You mean people that they deemed undesirable.
Right. Of course, well, they're not desirable to you and me. They're undesirable to the Nazis and to the Nazi way of thinking, and to Hitler specifically.
So, I mean, look, honestly, is this something that the NBA or the Premier League or anyone is going to tolerate? So let's get to it, shall we? What are they going to do about this? What do you think they should do about it? And what do you think they really will do about it?
Well, they have to suspend Anelka for the same 8 games that Suarez was suspended for what was deemed a racial action. I can't remember what kind of suspension John Terry got. Maybe that was less.
It was less. I think it was. Wasn't it 6 games for Terry? I don't remember. I don't remember offhand.
I'm not sure why Terry was less than Suarez, but whatever it was. Maybe that's based on the reputations of the players. Although JT has a bigger rap sheet than anyone in English football, but
it's another topic. Yeah.
Right, that's another topic. So I guess 6 to 8 games would be fair. And on the broader subject, there has to be some education that goes on, and a warning fired to Samir Nasri and Mamadou Sakho. Maybe there are more players that are playing in the Premier League that have done this in the past, but those are the 2 I know about that have saluted this comedian.
Right. And by the way, I mean, what does MLS do about these pictures of Thierry Henry consorting with an anti-Semite and a hate speech comedian? I mean, come on. What do they do about it?
Right, that's a big problem. For
the
MLS.
NBA.
Well, the NBA doesn't want any sniff of this. I think the NBA will probably take action, whereas the Premier League may not, and UEFA certainly will not.
I'll turn the conversation around because there are people listening, like Jimmy, who maybe don't, who maybe don't quite see what the problem is here. I'll just turn it around. What if you had a picture of, some of your biggest sports stars hanging with the head of the Ku Klux Klan?
Right.
I mean, it's the same sort of thing, right?
Right. And by the way, we were once at that point in this country. Thankfully,
That's true.
We moved beyond that, and we had a guy like George Preston Marshall, who rightfully was ostracized by society, owner of the Washington Redskins, an out-and-out racist who supported the Klan and some other white supremacist groups. But they were shamed into recanting. I don't see that sort of shame right now in English, in British and European society. In fact, I think this is part of a larger trend in the other direction, unfortunately, on anti-Semitism, Nick.
Right.
Maybe not in Britain, but on the continent, certainly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, that's a totally different topic. It's outside of the sporting realm. But this is what we're focusing in on. And, of course, look, I'm going to say it now. It's an 8-game suspension. It should be suspension also for maybe not 8 games because it wasn't done at a match, but there should certainly be a suspension, and I hate even a fine, or maybe just some education for those people who have been photographed and have come out publicly with Dieudonné. Maybe you don't suspend them. Maybe you just, maybe they come out with some sort of statement saying they didn't know. But how you could not know what this guy is just nonsense that nobody is buying. All right, enough of this very sad topic. Nick Geber, I'm talking with Kartik Krishnaiyer from World Soccer Talk. When we come back, folks, we're going to get into the football. We're going to get into the Premier League. Let's take a look at the front runners, see who we really think is going to win this thing. And I'm going to tell you why I thought Jose Mourinho just showed what a master he was in the match against Liverpool. All right, World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA, 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY. Time for break. We'll be right back after these messages. Don't go anywhere.
Quaker State and Walmart want to celebrate all you do-it-yourselfers. All you I can fix everything with a roll of duct tape. The I work hard for my money, so finding the best price shouldn't be another full-time job kind of people. Because when you want the job done right at the right price, you do it yourself. Trust the motor oil that's durable enough to have been tested in real-world driving conditions and still passed critical tests for brand new oil. So stop in at your local Walmart and pick up a 5-quart jug of conventional Quaker State motor oil today for only $14.47. Real, durable oil. See QuakerState.com for details.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now, 800-480-5708. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now. To speak to a professional tax relief agent, call 800-480-5708. That's 800-480-5708. Again, 800-480-5708.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Wherever you are right now, right this moment, you've never been closer to saving a child. Every minute, malaria claims another life. But donating just $1 provides a life-saving test and treatment for one child in Africa. $1 given, one child saved. We have the tools to ensure no child dies from a mosquito bite. $1 at a time, one child at a time. That's the power of one. Save a life now by donating $1 at PO1.org.
All right, welcome back to the show. World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA. Been kind of an odd show today here on the Sports Byline Network, American Forces. A little intense with all this racism stuff going on. But I hope you'll stick with us here. Nick Eber, Kartik Krishnaiyer are with you. 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY. If you've got a comment or a thought, love to hear from you about any of this. But in the meantime, let's get on with it, shall we? I think it's shaping up nicely in the Premier League right now as we're getting ready for we've had the last match of 2013 already. I think things are starting to look very, very interesting, and the Premier League is continuing to be at the top of the league and at the bottom, an extremely fascinating place. But Kartik, before we get into all of that, I want to talk about the big match of the weekend, which was Stamford Bridge. It was Liverpool visiting Chelsea. And I have to say, I thought the Man City match of a little earlier on against Liverpool was a much, much closer affair than this. I think if people wanted to see why Jose Mourinho is such an incredibly good manager and tactician, there was no better example of this than this particular match.
Yeah, that's certainly true, although one of the caveats I'd put on that is that Liverpool scored so quickly in the match in the third minute that if Mourinho was planning on sitting deep and absorbing pressure rather than pressing Liverpool high up the pitch, perhaps he was pulled out of that game plan right away by that early goal.
I don't think he was. I mean, I think the game plan was to do exactly what they did. And I've seen this before. I've made this comment before about Liverpool. If you follow Twitter, I've said this oftentimes, that they don't have a way to counteract teams that press them high, press them often, and, swarm around Suarez, which is exactly what Chelsea did. Of course, Chelsea happened to be unlike most other teams in the Premier League that have done this. And by the way, those teams, those lesser teams in the bad choice of words. I've got a lot of respect for all the teams in the Premier League, but the teams that are below Liverpool in the table that have managed to get results from them, this is how they've done it. Of course, right. Chelsea can do this and have a very, very potent counterattack themselves, but their pressing was superb. The energy level was superb. I thought they played Liverpool. That is the formula as to how you beat Liverpool. And I think more and more teams this season, for the second half of the season, that's what they're going to be doing. I think it's going to be a tough road for Liverpool ahead. I think it's going to be a real challenge now to finish in the top four.
Yeah, I agree. And we actually saw this a few weeks ago against Hull City. Maybe that was more than a few weeks ago now. But you saw Huddleston and Livermore sitting in a kind of an advanced midfield position as the wingers and the one striker that Steve Bruce was playing that day pressed Liverpool's back line, created quick turnovers, which then Huddleston, who's one of the best passers in the English game, especially on long balls, was able to put at the feet of a couple of his attacking players, and that led to Hull winning that game in quite a shock. So it's something that Mourinho saw, and he obviously has players that can execute it much better. And he got his squad selection right. I think the defensive work rate from both Eden Hazard and Willian were outstanding in this match.
Willian had the best match I've seen him play in England, period. I mean, I thought he was superb. Of course, Liverpool, without Steven Gerrard, without Daniel Sturridge, I mean, they need Sturridge up there as another option, because right now, I mean, I don't think Coutinho didn't really look all that dangerous. I don't think Raheem Sterling looked all that dangerous. Of course, you put Daniel Sturridge out there, it's a different matter. I mean, you're going to have to split some of the players up, and some are going to have to sort of follow Sturridge around, some are going to have to follow Suarez around. It makes it more interesting. But great job by Mourinho. That, folks, is why he is the world's most successful manager over the last 10 years, because when the big match situations come down to it, and there's a puzzle that he needs to figure out, that he can do it.
Right, that's certainly true. And as I wrote today on World Soccer Talk, he also has this ability to play the media and to downplay expectations. I think partly out of personal narcissism, but what it did is it took the pressure off his team, put the pressure on Arsenal and Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, the other four teams in the mix, and and then also gave him an excuse for dropping players like Mata and Schürrle and De Bruyne, who would play for any other team in the Premier League. Now he's got an excuse. If they don't win the title, he goes back to Roman Abramovich and said, look, I inherited these guys like Mata and Schürrle. They can't play my way. And De Bruyne, get me some new players. If they win the title, they win it because Mourinho has taught the players to play his way. The one guy he signed is Willian, and you can tell Willian is already a Mourinho-style player. Based on these last the Arsenal game at this
although
game.
a little smaller than I think Mourinho would like. I mean, I think if you want to see the style of team that Mourinho would like to have, I think you only have to go to Man City, because, I mean, that's what he wants. Big, strong, powerful, fast, skilled, good on the ball players, a team that can brutalize you, which is certainly Manchester City, no doubt about that. But let's get to it, because we talked about the Premier League shaping up nicely, and I think it really is. And it's funny, Kartik, because I keep hearing about Man City are the title favorites, and then there was a couple of articles both in the BBC and some other places talking about, you know, you have to look at Chelsea's performance and you have to love them now for the title. But, you know, why is everyone discounting Arsenal? They're at the top of the table. They've been at the top of the table on and off for pretty much the entire season, yet people seem ready to write off their title chances. I'm not quite ready yet.
And this was a very big couple days for them. 2 away matches, tricky away matches. London Derby against West Ham, who desperately needed points. And then a trip to Newcastle, who's been one of the better teams. In fact, Newcastle has the most points in the Premier League from November 1st until today. So going to St. James Park, they get 3 points in both matches. I was beginning to wobble on Arsenal after the Chelsea game. And I said it on the EPL Talk podcast that night that I was concerned. I thought both Man City and Chelsea had overtaken Arsenal, and that Arsenal now were going to be trying to fend off Liverpool and Manchester United. I was wrong. They responded. Those were 2 big matches, the types of matches Arsenal have not won the last few seasons.
Well, actually, Kartik, it's interesting because if for some reason, and I don't mean some reason like it's an outside chance, I mean it's very, very, very tight at the top. I mean, it's just the numbers are right there. If for some reason Arsenal don't win and they lose out by a point or 2, we're going to go back to that very, very, very first game of the season against Aston Villa where they lost. And how big was that game where Arsenal was sort of still reeling off their failures in the transfer market and they hadn't yet made the Suarez bid and all of this sort of stuff. Maybe therein will be a lesson for Ivan Gazidis going forward at Arsenal, that they need to get their house in order well before the season starts.
Right. 2 major events that could actually decide the title race. That 3 points dropped by Arsenal against Villa because the team was in flux. And then the Joe Hart, Nastasic mix-up, Chelsea versus Manchester City. That's a 3-point swing. They both get a point out of that game. Instead, Chelsea got 3, Manchester City got none. That is looms very large in the title race. So, and then I guess also obviously the West Brom game with the Ramirez dive. That's a point Chelsea never should have gotten.
Well, you know, Mourinho has been getting the rub of the green. He has been getting some of that Alex Ferguson good luck. And it seems to me that he is the one that has now picked up Alex Ferguson's mantle of having everything fall his way. Personally, I find Mourinho a lot more palatable than Alex Ferguson. Not that I had a problem with Alex Ferguson, but just, you know, just the whole Man United thing. But, you know, it's interesting to see. So Arsenal at the top, Man City, Chelsea, Everton, the surprise package so far this season, no doubt. But I can't see them maintaining it, Kartik. They do have some pretty rough fixtures ahead of them.
Yeah, and they have some injuries now beginning to pile up. Deulofeu is hurt. Kevin Morales has not been completely fit recently. There an injury to Lukaku away or an injury to McCarthy. McCarthy's been a phenomenal signing, by the way. Roberto Martinez knew this guy from Wigan. I knew he was a decent player at Wigan, but obviously Martinez knew him better than anyone, brought him with him to Everton. I thought paid a hefty price to get him from Wigan. Dave Whelan was laughing all the way to the bank with that one, but he is perfect for that system, which is why he brought him from Wigan, and probably why he brought him to Wigan in the first place. He is a player that if he goes down, I think everything collapses for Everton. Things seem to be being built around him in central midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done a great job. I mean, you know, Martinez has really done a fantastic job at Everton. He's been lucky in that the loan players he's got have really come through. Of course, lots of discussion now about Deulofeu going back to Spain next year, sooner rather than later. But, you know, it's going to be interesting to see Martinez go back into the transfer market next season to try to get back loan players again that are going to have the same impact for him. I mean, you know, I think we're going to see what sort of master he is. If he can do this more than 1 year in a row by getting impact loan players like this, then I'm going to completely change my tone on him. I have already changed my tone on him this season, but it's going to be changed even more. Newcastle United, interesting. I mean, lose 1-0 at St. James's Park to Arsenal. Great. You know, let's not underestimate how important that Arsenal win was, by the way. The way Newcastle have been playing right now, that was not an easy affair.
No, not at all. I mean, as I said, Newcastle had the most points in the Premier League coming into this weekend from November 1 onward, and have been playing very well. They, I guess, Pardew gambled a bit in this match, was trying to get to about the 70th minute at 0-0, and he almost got there.
Yeah.
But the one mistake, Giroud pounced on, got the goal, and then Newcastle came out of the shell. They were chasing the game. They applied a lot of pressure. But again, in the past, particularly against an opponent as good as Newcastle, Arsenal wilts under that pressure. They give up a goal. Sometimes they give up 2 goals and they drop all 3 points.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic gut check for Arsenal. I don't know why people aren't talking more about this today, quite frankly. Well, what a result.
Although, if we look at the top of the table, I mean, we've got Arsenal, we've got Man City, we've got Chelsea, of course, and you've got Everton, and then you've got Liverpool, and then you have Man United now coming up. I still think Man United are going to have a fight for 4th place, but I think they do stand a very, very good chance of getting it.
Yeah, they stand a very good chance. We'll see.
Which upsets me to no end, but I have to be honest and I have to be objective about it. They have gone through their most difficult matches, and yeah, they dropped points for sure, but they don't have the most difficult schedule going forwards.
No, they and Chelsea have the 2 sets of easiest fixtures. If you're looking at the top 6 teams remaining, which is part of the reason Chelsea is a fashionable pick today. Is
absolutely.
Their fixture list is much easier than Man City and Arsenal coming home. But with Man United, I think we're going to learn a lot about them in 2 matches coming up in the next 3 weeks. The Spurs match on New Year's Day, and then the match at Chelsea, which I believe is the first or maybe the second match after we get back from the FA Cup. That's if they can get a point at Stamford Bridge and get 3 points against Spurs, not at White Hart Lane, but at Old Trafford, then they're right back in the race for top 4. They're in the race for top 4. They're right back in the driver's seat for 4th place.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it unfolds. I certainly think you have to like Man United and the way they're playing. Even though I don't think they're playing well, they're just getting those results that they didn't earlier on in the season, that they always seem to get under Alex Ferguson. Even when they weren't playing well, they would grind out those results.
The Norwich game, Dick, was a typical game like that. They got shelled in the first half, and somehow they got out.
But, you know, we only got a couple minutes, but Jose Mourinho said something that he got a lot of heat from, by the way, by saying that Liverpool have had a vacation because they don't have any European fixtures. By the way, a totally unfair thing to castigate him on that, because he is absolutely correct. Man United have the European season starting up again in the Champions League. We're going to see just what type of impact it has there. That could be. They do not have a squad replete with depth of quality. That could be a problem. However, we will wait and see.
Well, Nick, that's a great point. This run has now come when they've been out of Europe.
That's right, exactly. And even though they're getting players back from injury, you know, you just don't know. Listen, Kartik, always an absolute pleasure to have you on. We will, of course, have you on again, as we do on a regular basis. Kartik Krishnaiyer from World Soccer Talk. This is, surprisingly enough, World Soccer Radio. Find us at watchwsr.com. Of course, we're on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. We're on American Forces Radio Network. We're on TuneIn.com. We're on iHeart.com. Man, we are everywhere. All you have to do is wet your finger and stick it out the window, and you will pick this show up somehow. All right, we're going to go to break, and I'll be right back to wrap it up on the show. Cheers. Speak to you in just a couple of minutes.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making 1 payment a month instead of making 3 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
Are you an inventor? Or do you know an inventor who would like to attempt to have an invention or idea patented and submitted to industry? InventHelp, America's leading invention company, has inventors' information you can have free. InventHelp has been helping inventors since 1984, with sales offices located in more than 60 cities nationwide. Get free information of interest to new inventors from the company whose patent referrals have helped secure more than 7,000 patents. Even if you only have an idea for improving an existing product and don't know where to go with it, you'll want this free inventor's information. It shows how InventHelp may assist you in trying to patent your invention and submit it to industry. So call now.
Call InventHelp at 1-800-316-1738. That's 1-800-316-1738. Get your free information by dialing 1-800-316-1738. That's 1-800-316-1738. 1-800-316-1738.
This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. A 14 by 21 foot shop for under $6,000 or a 50 by 100 for under $30,000. You heard right, that's 5,000 square feet under $30,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait.
Call 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298.
All right, folks, welcome back. World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA. Great place to communicate with me is via Twitter at World Soccer Radio. I've been communicating with people here all weekend, including apparently plenty of racists who hate me for my Jewish heritage, of which I am proud. So you can say all you want. All I can say is if you come by my house, I'm well armed. Let's just leave it right there, shall we? All right, at World Soccer Radio, at World Soccer Radio. Of course, you can pick up this show if you want to hear it again. You can find us on Ustream, on YouTube. You can find us on iHeartRadio, by the way, which is our newest one. And that's great. If you make us a part of your daily pulse, it'll put it up there for you. It'll remind you when the show's on. It'll tickle you to download the latest and greatest and all that wonderful stuff. We're on TuneIn.com, of course, and you can go to the Sports Byline USA website. Oh, man, we are everywhere. I do love doing this show. I will be back with you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. By the way, we are on every night, every weeknight, Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. You certainly want to make me a regular part of your week, or make us, because, of course, I'm joined most days by Danny Page, who's taken a few days off to celebrate the new year with his young electronic dance music friends. Hey, God bless him. I can't stand that stuff myself, but he loves it, and that's all that's important. All right, I'd like to thank Kartik Krishnai for coming on, and I do want to remind you, if you want to have a great discussion about football in general, they're really one of the best places on the web to go is worldsoccertalk.com, an absolutely terrific website. Good articles, insightful articles, scoops, breaking articles if you want to find out about the media and football and all this sort of great stuff. No better place than World Soccer Talk, and of course you can participate in the very active chat boards and comment sections of all the articles. All right, so once again, thank you for tuning in. 800-878-PLAY, write that down for future reference. World Soccer Radio is Twitter. And of course, every weeknight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You write me in your book with Sharpie, by the way, not pencil. I'm all into commitment these days. That's what that is all about. All right, folks, coming up next right here on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network, a true legend of the game, the one, the only Ron Barr. And there is only one place you get all of this great programming. That is right here on Sports Byline. Cheers. I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Good.
Thank you.